Hello, this is hopefully a short video on some of the basics of using the library. I will show you some other resources that you can figure out how to use our library, but since this is primarily for my students who are online, we're going to stick with our online resources. Right now what you see is the Edison Library homepage. You can get that by clicking on the resources button and going to library, and it'll bring you right here. You'll see there's plenty of resources and things to click on. Some of the things you'll want to look at are primarily going to be the databases for our research projects. This is our catalog, which everything is in the library. This is Ohio Link. These are both very, very useful. I am not going to show you these for sake of this video. I just want to go through the databases really quick because it's a little confusing. So I clicked on the database button, and you'll see two columns, and that's what makes this confusing. Most important thing is for use on campus and use off campus. If you are on campus, logged into a computer on campus, using your username and ID, you will use these. If you are at home, some other place that is not campus, if you even have your laptop with you on campus, you need to use the off campus. And so that's going to be the primary thing, but because I am on campus doing this video, we're going to use these, but it's the same sort of thing. There's a large reason for this. I'm not going to get into it, but it basically has to deal with subscription to these databases. So we have several different databases you can use. Academic Search, Business Source, we're going to not worry about that. Same thing with this one. NexisUni, this might be okay, and then Sears Researcher. So these three databases, Academic Search, NexisUni, and Sears, are going to be our best options for this research paper that we are doing for Composition 121. All these are search engines, and I will show you some links to help you understand how to use these better, but just a quick overview. Academic Search links to all of the academic journals and databases that are out there. So you can do a basic search. Let's say your topic for this research narrative is going to be competitive cheerleading. Hey, it's a topic. All right, so you type it in. You're going to get 56 results, which is actually pretty good. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it, but we're primarily looking for history. Remember, we're doing this research narrative as a way of talking about how something develops through time. So, evolving into a competitive activity, that might be something to look at. It was from 2000, so there we go. We can narrow it down using subject thesaurus, but the good thing is that since there's only 56 of these, we can really get into these topics. So here we have, what happened? Varsity sport. You can click on this, and to read it, you click on the full text. But we do get an abstract, which will be important later on. Another video, I'm going to show you how to use this information to help you organize your sources. But right now, we're just figuring out how to get to it. So you click on the PDF full text, and you can read it. It's just a short thing, so this might not be the best thing for you, but it might be okay, just as a little note. So you can download it, you can save it, and that's going to help you out. So you would go through all these various articles. Some of these you're going to have trouble getting, like this one, PDF full text finder. Sorry, not PDF, but you click on this, and it's going to tell you to go to Lexis Advanced, which is our LexisNexis. So you could just copy this information and go to our LexisNexis database. We'll do that in just a little bit, rather than going here because it's going to have you sign in, which makes it more confusing. Unfortunately, it doesn't just link you directly. Same thing here, full text finder. This is going to take you to Lexis Advanced. So that might actually be a good place for us to go next. But sometimes it's going to take you to our electronic journal resource center. But those are our first databases, and that's how you get something. If you were looking for something that had maybe a lot more sources, like please don't do the Challenger explosion because I've read a lot of papers on that, but we have 366. You might need to use these thesaurus tools to help narrow down what we want to look at. So we click on this first, and that's going to narrow it down to 277, and it's going to keep going as you figure out your you can also click on full text only as you narrow down your topic a little bit. But right now we're casting a very wide net to try to find information on our topics. So right now we're just looking. We're going to go back to NexisUni or LexisNexis. We've copied that one source already, so I'm just going to enter it. Now this looks a lot different, but I have all that information. I'm just going to enter it in. It won't let me do anything until I click on got it. But here we go. This is the article. You can click on this, and it tells you it's 2,000 words, which is pretty awesome. It's pretty long, and you can read the whole thing, and that's going to give you some really good information. You can also go back to the search term. Hopefully I'm not moving too fast. 4,000. There's no way you're going to go through 4,000 results, so you have to narrow your results. You can do it by other search terms, maybe putting this in quotations. It's going to help. We'll see. Really down. Gave us 1,000 fewer, 1,000 less results, fewer, less. I don't know. And we can go by timeline. So you really wanted to, you can narrow this down. Okay, well, 1993. What happened in this time period? Click on OK. Now we're getting some interesting stuff. Of course, this is looking at a movie review. Maybe that's not necessary, and you could use some things down over here to narrow it down. But 219, that is not horrible. You can read by the title, but it doesn't count. So now we're getting into some ideas that are happening. Does the government call it a real sport? And there, all of a sudden, we have a topic. Just going by an interest, competitive cheerleading. That is not my interest, by the way. But looking at that, what was something that happened? Well, now we can look at the story of how cheerleading's evolved over the last 10 years. And that can really help us out. The last database we'll look at is SRS Researcher. This is really good if you're looking for topics in itself. A lot of these are controversial topics, but you can choose some different topics. So maybe click on that. We'll see what happens, right? Ton of different topics. Let's hope we can find athletics easily, but again, this is controversial topics. You can simply just type in competitive cheerleading. And here we have some things that are also echoing the same sentiment. We have just under 100 sources, and you can kind of go through these. You're looking for newspapers, magazines, those type of sources. So when I say we're looking for academic sources, these are the 3 search engines I really want you to try to use. Hopefully you'll find some good information from there, but this is a very quick and simple video to help you understand some of these things. There are other things, like electronic journals, that you can look at by subject, but there's so much stuff out there. It's really hard to do this in a short amount of time, which is why I'm going to point you to what's called our library guides. And in here are some resource guides. There's supposed to be something for general research, but I don't have a library guide, but some people have some stuff in here. So you can click on that. It's going to give you some basic information, but there is supposed to be tutorials. Here we are, down here. I'm sorry, tutorials. So some video tutorials. I'm sorry about that. So this is our library, Lisa Hoops. There's some video tutorials that are a little old, but they will still help you out using these different searching tools. That'll be helpful. So if you need more guidance, but I'm assuming that you have some basic understanding. of the research. Once we get into that, we can start figuring out, well, if we can't find anything, how do we get other stuff? But primarily use these databases first, and then we can talk about going outside of our research ecosystem onto the internet. But right now, this is what I want you to look at. So I hope this is helpful and not too confusing. Have a good day.